I'm Raina.
I'm Jason.
We are Baguette Bound. And so tonight is a special night. We don't always have this set up in our yard, although I wish we did, because we're welcoming people who have worked with us over the last year. To come to France, and they're here. So we thought it would be really cool, because those of you who are still planning and dreaming and working and you're, cleaning out your house and doing all the things to get ready. We thought the more we see as humans, people doing something that we want to do, the more possible.
You see the paths that are possible.
Yeah, the paths that are possible. And so we wanted to ask the few of the people that are attending tonight a few ideas, thoughts about what it's been like, what's been easier, what's been harder, what they would say to themselves from 6 months ago, where you might be now. You're gonna meet a few people along the way.
So let's go grab a drink and see what they have to say.
Since you landed in France, what has been easier than you expected?
Okay, the surprising thing, totally off the wall surprising, is most everything has worked extremely well.
So has there been anything that's been more difficult than you expected?
Well, le français.
Le français, oui.
It's going much slower than I'd hoped. I guess I'm going to take it a day at a time, but it's lovely to be here.
You just keep working on it.
I do.
So, if you could tell yourself 6 months ago that was like worrying about all these things and you're getting everything ready and there's all the stress, like what would you tell yourself 6 months ago? You could go back.
I think if I could go back 6 months, because the last 6 months were totally intense.
Yeah.
Downsizing, finding out who to work with to help me with my visa. All these decisions. I had so many decisions to make and a lot of downsizing.
But she chose.
Yes, I did. I looked at many, but I ended up with baguettes.
The baguettes,
right? The baguette people. I've worked in sales most of my career, and I think you should sell yourself better, because it was exceptionally good. Great follow through, great process. I never doubted it. That was one thing before I came here. I thought, if I can find people like this, that create such a good track to get here, I felt that did give me more confidence.
Oh, I love them. They are some great people. I'm a veteran, a U.S. military veteran, and it's almost like the paperwork we used to have to do in the military. The frustrations you have with the types of paperwork and the volume and the time delay, but it's all good as long as you're willing to accept that. I'm in the process of doing a visa for a micro entrepreneur, which is different than a retirement visa. And so they've, just listening to them talk about all the different issues you might have as you're going through the visa process has been really educational and comforting too, to know that it's not that hard. You just need to get all your ducks in a row.
I'm doing pretty well here. Yes, I feel like it's better than my life before with school and all of that. It's definitely been a little stressful learning the language and meeting new people, making new friends, and all the things. So yeah, I definitely know a lot more than I did when I came here.
What we're really excited is Vinny really does like school better here than in America, and that's even despite having a lot of challenges at school as far as being confused about what you're supposed to be doing on any given day. Yes. So I think that's pretty telling that even with that stress and everything, we decided to move a bit quick. So it's been a little stressful as far as just trying to actually wrap up our life in America while also trying to start a life here. So that's been probably the main source of stress, I would have to say.
We've only been here a week, so this is really important for us. We get to hear from people who have come before us, who are starting their journey now, and we can just gather all the information that we need that we haven't found yet. I'm so thankful for Ryan and Jason for doing this. We met them when we came over in September and had a consult with them. And they're just lovely people, and they're just open with any information that you need.
It really helps in getting to know some other people that have sort of experienced the same journey as us. We're really fresh of 1 week in the country.
My wife has left me a whole list of questions tonight, all about things we have yet to do. We're only a part way through the journey. Like, we've bought a house. There's not much in it. We have yet to move and do the visa and ship 2 dogs. So there's all these things we haven't done that talk to people that have done it would be really helpful. And we didn't know what we didn't know. You know, we took some of their time, about an hour, and I learned the things I didn't know, which was helpful.
What's been harder than you imagined?
Wow, that's a great question. That's probably one thing I haven't thought as much about. Everything's been easier than I've imagined. So the thing that's been harder actually is having practiced French, being able to read French, those sorts of things. And then coming here and the language, that's been harder. Not being able to just study your way into it.
So what was actually easier than you thought it would be?
Oh boy, just being here. I have told some folks I felt like getting through all of the packing and purging and all of that, which I knew was hard work, and so I expected that, and I kind of just blacked out and kept doing it. And I expected to show up on the other side and be like, ah. And it was so calm and natural. Once I was here and walking the streets, it was like, where else would I be? As an American in particular, we think we're chill. We're not as chill as we think we are. And so I think there was a lot of like trying to over-engineer or over-plan certain things. I'm telling myself 6 months ago, just go on the ride. Just relax a little bit and not try to mitigate any possible bad thing that could happen. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Christina if you could pour some wine from our first bottle. We're going to taste a rosé wine from a local producer here called Chateau Thanek, which is about 10 minutes in that direction. Thanek covers over 200 hectares of land, and it has a massive amount of investment put into it over the last 30 years, from a derelict monastery, effectively, to producing, we think, really outstanding wines, but with really good value. First thing we're going to do is we're going to have a little look at the wine. So we're going to pick it up by the stem and hold it up to the light. And what can we see? It's colour, it's clarity, it's beautifully clear. There's no faults in its appearance. Okay? You give it a little spin around the glass. That coats the inside of the glass, allows the alcohol to dissipate slightly, and also lets the flavours develop because they're touching air. Okay? Then we're going to put it up to our nose. I'm going to have a smell. What do we smell? Strawberries, exactly. A little bit floral, acacia florals, I always think with this wine. Citrus notes as well, yeah? Okay. Now that, for those of us who are a little bit afraid of the wine waiter, is how you accept a bottle of wine at your table in a restaurant. When he pours it, you pick it up by the stem, you look at it, you swill it. That's great, thank you. The wine waiter now thinks you're a pro. It doesn't matter what it tastes like after that, he thinks you're a pro, okay?
The best one to have with the white wine would be the Comté. This one's a 16-month-old one, and generally Comtés range from 6 months to 24 months. This one's probably my favorite age, and it just goes really well with white wine. You can eat it with the rind or without the rind, really it's your choice. I'd say it's kind of has a similar texture like Parmesan. It really varies on what age you're having the Comté, because like younger Comtés are a lot softer and a lot fruitier, I guess, and whereas the older ones are closer to that Parmesan texture, and they're a little more woody.
We wanted to have tonight for 2 reasons. one, you guys have all done something that is hard.
Really big.
It's really big. And, you know, there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of like trust that goes into it, like believing you're going to figure it out. You're just going to get to the next thing. Like, that's a lot. And we just wanted to celebrate that because it's a big thing to do. 2 years ago in the summer of 2023, when we posted the first Baguette Bound video, we had no idea that like the channel would grow the way it has, that...
We had 3 video ideas.
Yeah, we were like, we'll make these 3 and then we'll move on with our lives, right? But then, you know, it grew. You were all watching, you were telling your friends, you were commenting, and then, you know, you were all trusting us to like be on this, like to accomplish this big
help
goal.
you, to work together with us.
Like that's also a really big thing. And, you know, so we wouldn't get to do this thing that we discovered that we love doing if it wasn't for all of you also supporting that. And that's also a big thing we wanted to celebrate. So, like,
and you know, I think there's still probably a lot to get done still, right? There's just so many things to do when you get here. But it's important, even though you're in the midst of stuff and there's maybe big stuff coming, to just take a moment to stop, pause, celebrate with others, pat yourself on the back for like doing the thing. It's hard to do, and you've done it, and we're all here, and congratulations. Thank you guys for joining us in this celebration too.
Yeah. Cheers. Or santé.
Santé. Santé.
Okay, bon appetit.